The following show may cause you to think differently. Welcome to Sing Out Loud with Ella Glasgow, the show where we highlight people who are doing just that. From authors to coaches to artists and everyone in between, the guests on this show have found a way to push past their fears and truly live life out loud. And through their stories and service to the world, are encouraging you to do the same. Joining us as featured guest, business growth entrepreneur Marc J Logan. And on the artist stage, beautiful and powerful vocalist Shellee. And I'm your host, Ella Glasgow, and it's time for you to sing out loud.
There's no time left to borrow. I'm not waiting for that someday.
Getting your message out into the world is one thing that I absolutely love encouraging people to do. But sometimes doing that can feel tough, especially when you're in a job that you feel is doing nothing for you. How can you take your passion to the rest of the world from where you're starting at ground zero, coupled with the fear of wondering if anyone will listen? Well, my next guest has lived this story and come through the other side. A corporate lawyer, once upon a time, he had a vision of something much bigger and embarked on a journey to positively impact 1 billion lives in their businesses and life. He's done it for many with his work as a high-ticket sales consultant known as the West Coast Closer, brand impact storyteller, and advisor to multi-million-dollar businesses. And now he has an Amazon Top 100 best-selling book in motivational self-help. He encourages everyone to step into their greatness and live life at their maximum potential, which is something that I can truly get behind. Please welcome my friend, Marc J Logan.
Marc Logan! How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I am doing so well. I'm so excited to have you on the show. We've been talking about this for like months.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's been a while.
So you're finally here. So before we get into it, I know that you've got some really cool new things going on with you and your business, and the things that you've got going on, it's really part of the reason why I wanted you to be on the show in the first place. So can you give us a little backstory as to, first tell us what it is that you do briefly, and a backstory of how we got there.
Yeah. So, my backstory, I've shared it with you a couple times, and it's really diverse. And that's the thing that's unique about it. I was a corporate attorney, when I first, I came into thinking about what I want to do and how I want to help people and what I want to do in the world, and that's what I thought. And I had this defining moment when I was 28 years old. I was at my law firm. I was sitting at my desk, and I was working on some merger, some finance deal that I don't remember what it was exactly at all anymore. But all I can remember was that I hated doing it. and I was looking around. I sat back in my chair and I looked around the office, and I said, "Man, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And that really kicked me into this tornado of self-discovery. And, I immediately pretty much dropped the practice of law and went into entrepreneurship and said, how can I help people with my background, my skills, and my expertise? And, I'm a creative, I'm a film lover, I'm an art lover, always have been. And that's been where I've been able to add value to a lot of people. And with that background, I saw a hole in the legal market when it came to marketing, branding, business development, and all those things. And I said, I'm going to help my colleagues here in the legal market actually grow their business, but focus on the entire process of business development where these certain things are being missed. And that's actually where my consulting business went. And, it's been a huge success since, and I'm really thankful for that. But a lot of exciting things are happening on the tail of that. So I'm really excited about it.
Ooh. We like exciting things. Can we talk about some of the exciting things?
So here's the thing. When I was in law school, I was so focused on doing the work. I was so focused on, let me get the best grades, let me get the best, test scores so I can get a big firm job when I get out of law school, get that, big 6-figure salary and the big building and the private office and all that stuff that, I thought I wanted and that so many people, think they want when they go into something like that. And
Yeah.
when I actually got into the practice, I mean, I succeeded in doing that. I got the job. I went in and I was immediately doing deals that I couldn't have imagined of, like multi-million dollar deals with companies that everybody knows. And I thought that's what I wanted. And then I look around and I say, okay, well, I want to be a really proactive asset to the firm. I want to be able to build my profile. I want to have a book of business that's my own, work with exciting clients that I really believe in and all of that stuff. But then I said, man, I don't know anything about business development for myself or for somebody else.
Right. Right.
So, man, that's what do I do there? And so I started, exploring it and all these things and learning. And I went on this journey really to find what ended up being 5 mentors who were way more successful than me in a bunch of different aspects, who could really teach me a lot of different things, help me kind of grow and evolve. And the more I thought about things, especially later, was, hey, if I wanted to open up my own firm, or if I wanted to grow this practice here, they didn't teach us any of this in law school.
Right. Right. And you know what's interesting, Mark, the thing that you and I were talking about yesterday, the interesting thing is that it's not just law school that some of these basic business principles are just not being taught. We are sent to school to learn about little small pieces that are directly related to the practice or the skill that we are doing, but how to actually make that skill make money for us really doesn't get told anywhere unless you decide to go and get another degree called an MBA to get those particular pieces.
Here's the thing about that, even when you get the MBA, they still aren't teaching you the core foundations that you need to really be able to go out and understand how to actually take your idea and make money with it, how it actually works, all those skills that are involved, and all the knowledge that you need to get that done. That's not covered in school, and it's crazy. And I think that I'm a big advocate of making sure that you're always learning from people who are way more knowledgeable than you. So I decided to go for the top, say, okay, I want multi-million-dollar mentors who can say, hey, Mark, this is what you haven't learned, and you also haven't learned this or that, and there are these landmines here, here, and here. You want to look for those when you're building your business, and if you're advising anybody else on building theirs.
Right.
And that's what allowed me to be successful in mine, and then that's what's allowed my clients to be so successful.
Right.
Working with me.
Right.
And it's crazy. People do need those resources. They do.
Yes, they do. So let me ask you this question, because it can be really easy to think that, you were a lawyer, you were a successful lawyer, and there are other people that are looking to that profession or some of the top 3 professions, be a doctor, be a lawyer, because they think that that's where it's at. But what gave you the courage to say, you know what, this is not where it's at for me. This is not my passion. I'm going to go and do something else.
I realized really quickly that, I was following interest and not passion. And I had confused the two. And I know that I had confused the two. But I came from an entrepreneurial family. I've always loved business. I've always loved, shows like Shark Tank and, venture capital, private equity, and all these deals and things like that. I wanted to know how this stuff worked. And when I took a business law course in college, I got that interest. And I said, well, I kind of want to see what's going on over here, learn how this stuff happens and all that stuff. And it'll be an asset. And it'll be cool. I can do this for a long time and all that stuff, whatever. It was all stories I was telling myself. And I got everything that I wanted out of it very, very quickly. And all of a sudden the work didn't matter. And I got hit with this kind of bomb of, you don't like this at all. You got your interest now. You got what you wanted out of it. And now what are you doing? And I've always been very cognizant of time. We only have a limited amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to what we want to do and what we want to accomplish, in this life that we have, right?
Right.
And I started thinking about the impact that I wanted to make and what mattered to me in the grand scheme of things. And really, it was nothing that was connected to law at all. And I knew that I had to find that. I knew it was critical for me to find that just for just for life's sake, and if you're not enjoying what you're doing, if you're not actually living with energy, living with passion, and wanting to get up every day, then what are you doing? And
right.
when I got hit with that, it was a really critical moment for me.
Right. Let me ask you this question, because I think that it's something that would be ideal for people to know. How is it that when you're looking for something that it is that you want to do, you want to do the thing that you're passionate about, but what if you are not in the position that you may have been in, or people may imagine that you were in, being that, well, you've got the money to be able to make that decision and just leave? How do you have the courage, if you're not in a financial position, to make a drastic change in what it is that you're doing in life?
Here's what I tell people about that is, they could look at me as the corporate attorney who was making all this money, but at the end of the day, what I realized, I didn't know as much about money as I thought I did. And the money that I was making, while it was a great salary that plenty of people would love to have, when working in that place and all that stuff, I went from that to zero. And no matter where you are, unless you're really on the upper end of things, if you go from that kind of income to zero, you take a massive hit, and you're no longer in a position where you can just kind of casually figure it out. So, what it comes down to is what I had to do. I had to, say, okay, Marc, believe in yourself, believe in your ability to, make this happen, but also take the responsibility to learn how.
Right.
Because if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know what the steps are, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, time and money-wise, whatever resources you do have, then it's going to be difficult to actually climb from zero to wherever you're trying to go.
Right.
And so it all comes down to like self-belief and knowing that you're going to be able to do this. You're going to make it happen, and then do it. That's really, it's that simple. It really is that simple.
Yeah. And there's a way that you have, I know, for people to be able to get that motivation with the book that you wrote that came out. Was it last year that the book came out, or was it this year that the book came out?
January this year. Yeah. January this year.
That book, that 100-page book, will kick your butt. Can you tell us the name of it so people can go and look for it if they want to go and pick it up?
For sure, yeah. It's called 10 Problems Preventing Greatness in Business and Life. And the whole point of the book is we all have these problems that hold us back from achieving our full potential that we don't even know about. There's so many things that we just don't know about ourselves and about other things. But when it comes to our own potential, every single day, things are happening that are holding us back from actually reaching those next goals that we want to hit for ourselves. And you can't solve a problem and reach any target that you're trying to hit, no matter how much you talk about it. You can't actually get there if you don't know what problem exists in the first place.
Right.
So you have to identify what those problems are and then actually figure out how to solve them and address them for yourself before you can move forward the way you would like to. And that's what the book helps people do.
Awesome. Say the name of that book one more time so that we
Problems Preventing Greatness in Business and Life. Available on Amazon.
Yes. Yes, it is. Because I have it.
and you liked it, right?
I loved it. It's such a quick and easy read. It's such a quick and easy read, and it has such a powerful message in a straightforward way, which is one of the things that you and I have talked about several times, which is why we're so in sync with each other, because we like things to be straightforward, to the point, because nobody has time for all of the runaround. We're just trying to get to the actual point of the issue. Mm-hmm. Marc, thank you so much for being here with us on the show today. And Marc is not leaving, you guys. Marc is not going anywhere. But before we bring him back to talk with us some more and have some more fun, we're going to go over to the artist stage.
Songwriters and musicians have the unique task of telling the stories of those around us. Stories of love, joy, hope, and loss. Their words have a way of healing and helping the soul. Shellee is such a songwriter and vocalist. Her song today pays tribute to a friend who lost her fight with this life. Today, this song is for those lost and those who remain.
I like my fires burning bright, she said, don't go dimming them down. For any colder I would freeze, the water gets any higher, I might drown. But I know how to swim, I know how to dance to this song, but this time I won't win. This time I just can't play along. I like my fires bright. There's no more sky to fly in, she said, but these feet won't stay on the ground. Just one more white heart from the red, but tell me, if a woman falls and no one sees her, does she still make a sound? But I know how to swim, I know how to dance to this song, but this time I won't win. This time I just can't play along. I like my fires bright. And I said, Mary, I like my fires bright too. But how much dimmer the flame is, now we have lost you. But I know how to fight, but this war seems pointless and cruel. This is a darker night, and I'm running out of fuel. I'm running out of fuel, and I need my fires bright. I need my fires bright. I need my fire. No, no. I need my fires bright. I need my fire.
Marc, you're with us. Hello.
Still here.
There was something that we were talking about during the break. We were talking about storytelling, and I wanted you to just briefly tell our audience about that.
Sure. So I'll start with this. So stories are, and I really mean this, stories are scientifically proven to be the most effective way of communicating with the human brain. Scientifically proven, nothing else is more effective. I mean, and guys like, Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan, they figured this out a long time ago. And that's why we go to the movies. That's why we go and we lose ourselves. And I mean, it happened to me as a film lover, and it still does to this day. I lose myself in stories and forget about everything else that's going on because it's that powerful. And and here's the thing, it's not just movies, it's not just books. That's not what it's about. Everybody has their own personal story that makes them unique, and no story is the same. They might be similar, but they're not identical.
Right.
Everybody has a unique, powerful story that actually makes them stand out from everybody else on the planet, whether they know it or not.
Right. So how can you take that story? How can you take that story and make it be applicable to your business? Because that's the thing that you and I were talking about having your own personal story to help you to stand out, whether that be at an interview or at a networking event. How do you tell a story?
Well, here's the thing about it is when you really look at everybody around, when you look at businesses, when you look at people who are just, trying to get a new job, trying to network better, trying to communicate better in their circles or whatever it might be, everybody that you look at, for the most part now, everybody looks identical. They look generic and boring, not interesting, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Everybody has these special gifts to share. They have these talents, these convictions, these passions that are inside them that they can share with the world, and they can actually project in whatever way that they want to accomplish whatever they want to.
Yeah.
And the first step is really kind of taking a step back in this world we live in, this where everybody's trying to sap your attention and get you to do things, take action on things and all this stuff, and say, wait a second, what are the facts right now about where I am, who I am, what do I like, what do I not like, and how does that apply to everything that I'm doing? What do I care about? What matters to me? Why? Really why? Not the stories that I might be telling myself about why, but the real reason, and actually get authentic with yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
When you're authentic with yourself first, you have that moment of sitting there and just understanding. I had this experience myself. When you have that moment and you're sitting there, you say, okay, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. It gives you clarity and power to go in and actually communicate that to anybody that you want to accomplish whatever you want to. And that's how you start to stick out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So I would love to talk to you about all of these things all day, but we can't. We only have so much time. But
I could talk about this all day.
I know, right? We could talk, and we have.
Yeah,
we have at some point before today. We have actually talked about
yeah,
today. But guys, if there's more that you'd like to find out about Marc, you can see all of his contact information is below here on the screen. So you can reach out to him if you want to know more about how to tell your story for your business. Then reach out to him because he would love to talk with you. And now, Marc, this is the part of the show that I get to ask my questions. These are things that I ask everyone. You guys know this at this point. I ask everyone the same 3 questions, except they're never the same. So now it's time for What's Your Fave? Marc, my question for you today, what is your favorite, absolute favorite song?
My absolute favorite song. Just if I had to pick one song to listen to round the clock all the time.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror.
Yes?
Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. No hesitation.
And why is that?
It goes to feeling. I'm a big Michael person. I love his music. Always have since I was a kid. And I don't know, something about that song just has always like clicked with me on an emotional level. I've got memories from it. And it's like listening to it for the first time every single time. I know everybody has songs like that.
Yeah. I feel like now I'm gonna have to go and listen to it. And gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Awesome. Well, the next question that I have for you is this one. This is a little more serious than What's Your Fave? But when you are 97 years old and you are sitting on the front porch of your house looking back on your life, what would you like to look back on your life at having achieved?
2 things. Two things. I want to look back and number one, say, that was a heck of a ride.
Yes.
That was a heck of a ride. Like, wow.
Yes.
And number two, along the way, made an impact in a positive way on a lot of people.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
Those are the two things.
Well, that leads us into our last question. And that is, if there was one word that you could leave our audience with today, what would that one word be?
Passion. Passion. And I'll tell you why. It's you have to know, what your passions are, whether you share them or not. You have to know for yourself what matters to you. And it can be hard to figure out sometimes. Sometimes it can take a lot of time to figure out, but you got to work on finding that out and figuring it out for yourself, getting clear on it, because that's what lets you operate from that place of power every day.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love that. Marc, is there any last words that you want to give to the people before we sign off?
Same words that I give to everybody when I sign off anywhere. Just, be great, be great. And, if you have any questions for me, any way I can support you, feel free to reach out.
Yes, of course, of course. Like Marc said, if you have any questions for him, feel free to reach out to him. His information is right here below on the screen. And if you want to know how you can make a greater vocal impact, I am your vocal impact expert, and I would love to hear from you. If you've got any questions about how you can do that, reach out to me. My website information is also below. Thank you so much for being with us. Marc, thank you so much for being with us. There is a very particular way that I sign off, and it includes you throwing up your deuces. And I tell everybody, I got stuff to do, and you got stuff to do. So it's time for you to go give your dreams a kick in the pants. We'll see you next time. Bye.
I'm gonna